My name is Pierre-Olivier Demeule. I am a graduate student in architecture at Université Laval, and the research in which I'm involved with the Link Partnership focus on the vernacular architecture of Inuit cabins built around the fjord of Salouet in Nunavik. From outside, Nunavik remains misunderstood in many ways. Despite the fact that it is easier than ever to get there, its climate, its wildlife, or the Inuit culture have left their marks on the popular imagination. This often leads to think of Nordicity as something different to itself. According to Louis Hamelin, a geographer and a thinker of the North, by perceiving cold as a state of abnormality, it is difficult from the South to imagine that a population can have chosen to live in the Arctic. As a result, Nunavik is more often viewed in terms of its usefulness than its inhabitability. And yet, dwelling in the north embed a real way of life. For many Inuit, it extends far beyond the village and reaches into the earth of the tundra. Balance between tradition and present-day reality, the northern land is now dotted by cabins built with the most delicate and effective ingenuity. In the fjord of Salouet, nearly 100 cabins, made from all kinds of materials, are grouped in about 20 camps. They support hunting and fishing activities, and allow the family to maintain their special relationship with the land they share. Studying these cabins with their builders in order to learn what is so authentic about their construction process has proven to be the bearer of a plural Nordicity, as well as the advent of an inclusive architectural practice. In this context, the research question is simple. It sought to recognize the teachings and principles that cabins can bring to the idea of dwelling in the North. The approach that served the research is based on two main phases. The first one was oriented toward meeting the builders, and then toward observing, measuring, and exploring their cabins. The data thus collected then allowed the process of graphic deconstruction in which shapes, spaces, and objects that make up these habitats were traced one by one and analyzed with regard to scales and parameters, which in turn made it possible to identify the co-occurrence of typical characteristics of the fjord cabin. In short, and despite the fact that many nuances enrich the results, it is clear that the cabins around Salouet meet the needs of their dwellers by using construction and design strategies influenced by traditional knowledge, by the needs of present-day lifestyles, and by the innovative possibilities opened up by the mix of recycled and local materials. On a regional scale, for example, the location of most camps within bays, as well as their alignment along the coast, reveal the layout of preferred access routes toward the land through river and mild slopes. The organization of these camps also appears to be adapted to the constraints induced by the morphology of the sites and the construction methods that can be done on the land. Places where the ground is steady, easily accessible from the fjord, protected from the wind, and suitable for traditional activities, has proven to be ideal location for camp establishment. At the same time, these qualities also appear to be those that ensure resilience of the cabins in front of increasingly frequent climate change. On the scale of the cabins and their construction, two observations stand out. The first comes from the fact that the work of the self-builders is essentially artisanal. This means that the process of building the cabins is not governed by any standards other than those brought about by the culture and the nature of the materials. Arranged with regard to its properties, the matter generates original configuration where the cabins become adapted patchworks to the addition made over time. Although many are similar, none is the same, and in this way, they are an echo of the collective and individual know-how of the land's builders. A second observation comes from the fact that these similarities between the cabins make it possible to read the evolution of living practice as well as the expression of some cabin typologies. Some appears to be more recent, others to be more oriented towards hunting or fishing, and still others to be better suited to frequent stays and family gatherings. Finally, all the drawings made to illustrate the organization of the camps and cabins along the fjord of Salouet can be found in a research appendix where the inductive process of their graphic deconstruction is reinterpreted step by step. By referring to the architectural viewpoint that was taken, this appendix marks both the need to valorize local constructive thinking and the need to pursue such a research approach on a larger scale. Moreover, and without claiming any absolute accuracy of the proposed reading, The research hopes to attest that cabins are carrying a meaningful sense of dwelling that is connected to the land. A living culture whose architectural example can certainly contribute to the development of a way to build that is well balanced between sustainable, technical, and symbolic approaches.